Hi guys! Welcome back to Mindfulness Monday, week 2. We are still in the self-discovery month, and so today we are going to go over the Meyers Briggs personality test, otherwise known as MBTI, which is the Meyers Briggs Typography Indicator. This is probably one of the most common personality tests out there, so you have probably at least have heard of it. If you already know what your type is, I still give a little bit of the science and the history behind how it was all figured out, so stay for that. If you do not know your type, go ahead and get a pencil and a notebook. We are going to get started. If you are new here and you're wondering how these personality tests and stuff kind of have to do with mindfulness, I explained everything. I explained all of that in my previous video. I will link that below. You could go there, figure out. I keep joking. I will link that below. You can go check out that video. It'll just explain why I think this stuff is important and how it's going to help you and how it's linked to managing anxiety and mindfulness and all of that good stuff. But I'm not going to explain that twice, so we're just going to jump into it in this video. In 1921, a psychologist by the name of Carl Jung did some research and he figured out that there were different personality traits based on what he thought were two different factors. And that was whether or not the person was extroverted or introverted, and whether or not the person judged or perceived their external environment. His research was discovered by Catherine Cook Briggs and Isabel Meyers, who was her daughter, in 1923. And they set out to take his research and put it into English because apparently it was super convoluted and no one wanted to read it. So they went on to do their own research, and it took them 3 decades and thousands of test subjects later, and they finally came up with the first MBTI personality traits. Okay, so we're going to figure out what your personality trait is. Again, this can help you figure out what type of person you are, as well as what careers might be good for you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is introversion versus extroversion. Despite popular belief, these two things have nothing to do with social anxiety or how loud or quiet you are in public. So basically, it's where you get your energy from. So extroverts tend to get energy from being around other people, so they can't be alone all the time. And introverts need that alone time to kind of recharge so they can go out and socialize just like extroverts can, be the life of the party, but ultimately they have to come back and have some alone time away from people. So if you tend to need breaks from crowds, you are probably an introvert, and if you need people to replenish your energy, you're probably an extrovert. So go ahead and write that down, write an E for extrovert or an I for introvert. Fun fact that has nothing to do with this test, but if you are an introvert that acts like an extrovert in public situations, you are an ambivert, which means you have qualities of both, but you're inherently an introvert. I thought that was interesting because I always knew what ambivert was, but I thought it was just a mix of both. I didn't know ambivert meant an introvert that acts specifically like an extrovert. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second category, so that is going to be sensing or intuition. If you lean more towards sensing, you're probably going to be looking at the details and the facts of the situation, whereas if you lean towards intuition, you're going to be using your gut feeling a lot and looking at the big picture. If you think you're more of a sensor, write down an S next to your I or your E. And if you think that you use your intuition more, write down an N. Okay, so the next two are thinking versus feeling. Pretty much self-explanatory. Thinkers tend to use numbers and analytics to determine their course of action, whereas feelers tend to think about the emotions and how it impacts the people that are involved. They're more likely to take their values and their feelings into account instead of just sticking with the data. So if you think you're more of a thinker, put a T next to your other two letters, and if you're a feeler, put an F. Okay, so the last one is judging versus perceiving. If you're a perceiver, then you probably don't like to make a lot of plans. You probably like to go with the flow and just observe things. And if you're a judger, you're more likely to want to have like specific goals and accomplishments and things to work towards on deadlines. So if you are a judger, put a J, and if you're a perceiver, put a P. So now you should have 4 different letters, and that is going to determine which one of the 16 personality types you are. So if you want a more in-depth analysis of your types, I'm going to leave the link down below so you can get to the website that will tell you about your individual type in more detail, and it also offers career options for you as well. Alright, so go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and hit the subscribe button if you want more mindfulness tips and tricks and cool videos and random stuff. Yeah. Alright everybody, have a great day, and I will see you next week for Mindfulness Monday.